Today we're talking about dysfunctional soulmates and twin flames. I'm Sophia, and I'm here with Sarah.
Hola. Hello.
Hola, hello. So today we're talking about dysfunctional relationships, Sarah. And yes, even spiritually connected relationships can be dysfunctional. Take a good look at your relationship and be honest. Are you happy? Are you happy only part of the time? Or are you just flat out miserable? Are you being treated unfairly, unkindly, or unjustly? Do you see the relationship getting torn apart and see the two of you drifting further apart? Is there more drama in your relationship than there is on reality TV? Do you find your self-esteem, self-respect, and dignity free-falling off a cliff, right? And do you find yourself frequently putting up with all the things you swore you would never tolerate from a romantic partner? Does the relationship you really want, the one you see in your dreams, not even come close to the crappy one you actually have? Well, congratulations. You are in a dysfunctional relationship. And are you having fun? Probably not, because there is no fun in dysfunctional relationships.
Exactly. When you constantly and continually have to fight to keep a spiritually connected relationship alive, you are fighting a losing battle on a daily basis. When you are the only one making compromises, you are compromising your standards, your self-respect, and your dignity. When you keep trying to get emotions from a person who is emotionally unavailable to you, the only emotions you will feel are negative ones. Aren't spiritually connected relationships supposed to be held to a higher standard? Aren't they supposed to be joyful? Why then do people put so much effort into keeping and maintaining relationships where all they feel is basically joyless? Everyone seems to have heard the term dysfunctional relationship, but many people have no idea they're actually in one. Look at Facebook. They even have a status for it. They call it complicated. When if they're being real, it should say dysfunctional. The amount it will cost you to allow a spiritually connected relationship to stay dysfunctional is way too high a price to pay. There's no rainbow at the end of this path. It's time to turn around and go back to your spiritual path instead of on this detour that you took.
Yeah, it's interesting, Sarah, because people who call us for readings are often shocked when we tell them they're in a dysfunctional relationship.
Yep.
They are 100% sure they are spiritually connected to their partner, but are speechless when told their relationship is dysfunctional. Now, how did they not know they were actually in this completely out of control relationship? Is it because there is a lot of enablers out there telling them it's okay for spiritually connected people to behave in less than spiritual ways? Yeah, people call us when they get frustrated with their relationship. They know there are problems, like they may always be afraid their soulmate or twin flame will break up with them yet again, or that the recent fight they had will be their last and they won't get back together, or that because of the things that were said in anger, they may never be forgiven. But it seems that until they really want to be honest with themselves, they simply won't be. They will have every excuse for their relationship and their spiritual partners, less than spiritual behavior, even though they probably know deep down inside that the relationship is dysfunctional. They're just not quite ready to admit it.
Mm-hmm. You may be thinking that your spiritually connected relationship just needs time to fix itself, or to get it back to where it was in the beginning, when it was fun. Do you really think that it's going to get there all by itself? Please stop thinking that when X amount of time goes by, or if you have a kid together, or if you move in together, or you get engaged, or you get married, that the joy, stability, and happiness will enter your relationship, and that the relationship fairy will wave her magic wand over you both. It's not going to happen. It won't magically fix itself. There is no fun in a dysfunctional relationship, and there never will be. You've gotten to the point where the patterns of behavior in your relationship are destructive ones. And boy, have they done a lot of damage already and will continue to do a whole lot more. The universe is responsible for creating the connection between the two of you. What the two of you do with it is on you. You both screwed it up, you fix it. It's not the universe's job.
Right, that's absolutely true. So how can you fix a dysfunctional relationship for soulmates or twin flames so that it becomes fun again? Well, some you can and some you can't. The more dysfunctional it is, the less of a chance you have to make it a healthy relationship. So sooner rather than later, you need to do something or it will just be too late. So the first step is to recognize that your relationship is no longer working and that it is not on a spiritual path and that the methods you are using to make your relationship change for the better are not working. Okay? The first step is looking at your relationship and admitting your relationship has become a real problem.
Mm-hmm. We are actually very surprised by the number of people we speak to who believe that they're in a normal spiritually connected relationship, when it actually is severely dysfunctional. They think that it's normal for people that are in a spiritually connected relationship to act out and treat each other horribly. If your relationship has gotten way out of control, where there are no boundaries, no respect for you or the relationship, your connection, or for each other, it is a dysfunctional relationship. I don't care what pretty label, like you ever notice? Normal people break up, but soulmates and twin flames are in separation. You're broken up. Get over yourself. Stop with the pretentiousness, okay? It's time to accept you're in a dysfunctional relationship. If every little tiny thing escalates into something big, your relationship is dysfunctional. If you keep breaking up and getting back together, don't kid yourself. You're in a dysfunctional relationship. And finally, if your relationship is making you miserable, even though it was great in the past, and the fun has gone out of your relationship, it is dysfunctional. Also, if there are any sort of love triangle nonsense, you can bet the farm you're in a dysfunctional relationship. Hopefully, those of you listening can now identify if your soulmate or twin flame relationship is dysfunctional. And we're not saying that soulmates or twin flames have to be perfect people, because that's one of their favorite excuses. Well, nobody's perfect. Yeah, nobody's perfect, but people on a spiritual path don't behave like this. It shouldn't get this out of control. This is not what the universe had in store. This is what two people behaving in an unhealthy way created.
Absolutely. So once you have acknowledged that your spiritual partnership is no longer a healthy one, you need to see what you can do to turn it around, if it can be turned around. Forget about waiting for him or her, your partner, whatever, to have a light bulb moment or an epiphany of some sort. More than likely, this will not happen. As a matter of fact, we can probably guarantee that it won't. He or she, they, like the dysfunction because it keeps them in control and you insecure and unstable. This gives them all the power and you zero, zip, nada, nothing. You must also realize that some dysfunctional relationships can't be saved by staying, period. You have to end things. Not necessarily forever, but for now. Because no amount of talking, begging, pleading, energy, effort, or tears will change the dynamics of some relationships, no matter how much you want to repair it. It's time to cut and run. and let them see you won't put up with this any longer. When you have tried everything and everything else has failed, this is often the one thing that finally works.
Mm-hmm. A dysfunctional, spiritually connected relationship cannot be changed just based on how much you love, desire, or are connected to someone. I know. It's gonna take some work, and not just yours alone, but work you're both willing to commit to and work on together. An intervention can be done on your dysfunctional relationship if you catch it early enough, or like you bring it back into balance. But if too much damage has been done while you just waited around and hoped things would change and enabled them, to keep acting out or whatever, you might just have to get professional help, like from a counselor or a therapist. But sitting around waiting for things to get back together, get better, is ridiculous. Exactly how did you expect your relationship to change for the better if the two of you did nothing? How? How does that even make sense? If something is bad, it gets worse without change. It doesn't change for the good without any change on either party's part.
Right, and it seems that nowadays people are willing to allow more dysfunction in relationships because what was once a deal breaker has now become tolerable or acceptable. And this happens a lot in soulmate and twin flame relationships. Many people seem to think it's part of the process. And you know what? It doesn't have to be. It's a choice, and up to the two of you. It seems that more and more people find it easier to tolerate dysfunctional behavior, and that tolerance seems to keep rising every year. There's a lot of nonsense out there that enables people to accept dysfunction in spiritual partnerships by saying, it has to be dysfunctional for growth to happen. Well, you know what? That's a load of crap. So growth does not only come from negativity. It can also happen from positive experiences, and it's way better that way. Because of this belief, the result is that more and more people find themselves miserable and in dysfunctional relationships, and they blame the connection. Now, it seems that dysfunctional spiritual relationships, soulmate, twin flame relationships, whatever, are almost becoming the norm. Relationships can't be fun all the time, but if they are stressful, abusive, have no boundaries, then it won't be fun at all. And who wants that? No, the universe put you together for that? No, they didn't. The universe doesn't want you to be miserable, so fix it.
Exactly. What you said is so true. You would almost think people expect spiritually connected relationships to have tons of dysfunction because lessons have to be learned. That is a complete BS excuse. You do not have to learn lessons the hard way all the time. You can actually learn lessons with positivity and support. And on to another type of dysfunctional relationship. Exactly how many people are having affairs and are actually finding it all fun? Of course it can be fun in the beginning, as there is a certain element of excitement as you sneak around, have secret flirtations, long lunches, and higher than usual lingerie bills. That's part of the fun. But you're participating in something that you swore you would never do. And you're basically wasting your time. You're enabling that person to stay. And again, your relationship can only go so far while there's three people involved. I mean, unless that's your thing. I'm saying, but your initial intent, I'm saying, may have been to just hang in there. I'm saying till they end their other relationship. But if it's years down the road, what the hell are you waiting for? You're spending the holidays and your birthday without them? Boy, that sounds like fun. The universe often brings spiritually connected people together when they are in other relationships. Not to have an affairs, but to leave those other relationships so they can be with their spiritual partner.
Exactly. It's supposed to be a catalyst for change.
Mm-hmm. But see, that's where the dysfunction really starts. If you look at the root of all of it, it's the lessons presented themselves, and they went, no, I don't want to learn that. And here we are.
Right. And so now, after all these years have passed, and you're still carrying on in this affair, and you're still no further along in the relationship with them because they've done nothing to indicate that they've taken the initiative to leave their spouse. Is this still fun? Is it? Doubtful. Parts of it may be, but you won't really be happy until they do just that. Leave. And until they do, you won't really be satisfied sharing them with someone else. Perhaps they want you to leave your relationship to be with them, even though you're afraid to do so. Just because you share a spiritual connection doesn't mean that your twin flame or soulmate will wait around forever to be with you. So if you're the one that is the person that needs to kind of like figure your stuff out and, make your exit from a relationship, you can't wait forever for that to happen.
Right. And exactly. Okay. And how many friends with benefits and booty call relationships are working out for both parties? You can feel the connection between the two of you, but they won't give you a chance at a real relationship. So, rather than lose them, you've allowed yourself to become a booty call. Sure, one of you may be having a grand old time, but if one of you got into this hoping for more and is getting nothing but casual sex, how long before the fun is overtaken by frustration and anger? It might have been great in the beginning, but that joy is sure going to be short-lived once you realize they don't want a relationship with you. You spend all this wonderful time together having sex, but between the sex, there's a void. There's nothing. There's no real communication, no texting, no going on dates, nothing. Is that really fun? It usually feels degrading, and it can actually be quite devastating once you realize that this really is sex and that this person has no intention for anything more if you were to just leave it up to them. Always remember, what you allow will continue. And this holds true for spiritually connected relationships too. If you want more, you have to demand more. They set the parameters of this. You went along with it. So you are in a relationship that they created. So when are you going to try and create the one that you want? You're just going to sit around and wait for them to decide out of the blue, oh, I think I'll give them more now. Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, so when you're doing most of the heavy lifting to keep a relationship going and your partner is doing nothing, is it really worth it? Most people work towards a goal. Yet if that goal is never, ever achieved, despite how much work they put into it, eventually the joy goes out of it and it becomes more like a chore or a burden. So, working on a dysfunctional relationship all by yourself with zero input from your spiritual partner is just like working 2 full-time jobs and getting no paycheck for either of them at the end of the week. So doing all that work with no payoff is a waste of time. You cannot do it by yourself. You can start the process by yourself, but at some point, they have to get on board or no real change will occur. In most cases, change only occurs when you do the work first.
Yeah, stop waiting around for them.
Yep.
If you have a relationship where the person breaks up with you for no good reason, only to pop back into your life again as if nothing happened, please don't tell me the joy that you have upon their return can make up for the pain you feel when they pull the rug out from under you and leave you. Add to that the constant fear you have of them doing it again. Yuck. The pain and fear greatly outweigh any joy in this scenario. You may have them again for a period of time, but they will probably break up with you again. It's like riding a horrible roller coaster. When they come back, you're up and things can be amazing for a little while, but then they're gone again and you plunge down and down and down to the depths of despair again. This is not healthy. This can't be fun, no matter how good the up part is, because always, without fail, the plunge happens again. Many people that are spiritually connected to someone use this scenario to prove how connected they are. They say, see, we always get back together. That's how strong our bond is. Nothing can break us up permanently. Seriously? Really? All that shows is that your spiritually connected relationship isn't on a spiritual path. It's dysfunctional.
Right. And so, how much happiness and joy do you feel when you have to check their emails and phones constantly to see if they're cheating on you? When are you doing your drive-bys to check and see if they're really where they say they are and not with a member of the opposite sex? Exactly how much fun is that? Is it fun to sit outside someone's house, parked at the end of the street, wondering who owns the white car in the driveway? Do you have that much time to spend spying on them when they're not with you? Is this demoralizing? Yes. Is it shameful? Yes. Is it beneath you? Yes. Is it fun? Oh, hell no. And this is behavior is doing nothing to resolve the trust issues between you at all. So why are you doing this?
And really, if you catch them, what are you going to do about it? Yell at them? Break up with them? Most people in this situation of dysfunction are afraid to say anything to the person that's doing anything wrong. So you catch them, you get hurt, and you do nothing about it. Yeah, that's going to make things better. So why put up with this? Why do people feel like the harder they try or the longer they hang in there, that the dysfunctional relationship will work out? What about now? What is it that makes people believe that the proof of love or a spiritual connection is how much BS you will tolerate or forgive? They say that what does not kill you makes you stronger. However, the behaviors and words in a relationship that kill your soul make you weaker. You need to be happy and enjoy your life and enjoy your relationship today. If your relationship has caused you to be miserable for the past day, week, month, or year, how can you look at your future with hope instead of seeing the same crap in your future that's been happening in the past? Since when is having no hope a good thing?
So, how can someone bring change to a dysfunctional relationship and bring the fun back into it? Well, first of all, stop fighting. When you know how to push each other's buttons because you've had lots of practice pushing those buttons and fighting, you're not going to get anywhere at all. Replace fighting with peaceful discussions or conversation. If you have tried being calm and rational, yet your partner prefers to make things escalate and likes to fight dirty, just remove yourself from the conversation and don't engage with them until they're calmer and willing to have an actual adult conversation. Don't sink to their levels. And when they get like that, please remember that no amount of reasoning will work with them at times like this. And you're better off talking to a shoe. Remove yourself from the conversation. Leave. Take a walk. Go hang out with friends. Do something. Just don't engage. Get counseling if they're willing to help better the communication between the two of you.
Yeah, and if they won't, go get a counselor yourself.
Yep.
Yep. Just do it for yourself. Stop letting resentments and hurt build and destroy the spiritually connected relationship you value so much. You both have to agree that if this relationship is going to move forward and grow, you have to forgive and let go of the past and start fresh so you can have a chance at a decent future. Until the two of you are willing to let go of the past, and that includes exes and whatever, it's just going to haunt your relationship forever. If you hold on to past hurt, you will continue to hurt each other. And don't keep bringing up the past either. Dredging up past grievances over and over and over will basically lead to nowhere but dysfunctionville.
And stop waiting for change to happen. It's not going to happen by itself. Take control and begin to create change in your relationship. Stop feeling like your relationship is dependent on what your partner says, does, feels, and thinks. Take control of what you can, which is how you act, how you think, and how you feel. You're not a remote control robot being controlled by someone else. Be responsible for your part and change what you can first. Being empowered is more fun than being someone else's puppet. And do something different. That is what change is, doing something different.
Exactly. Stop stooping to lower behaviors and debasing yourself to save the relationship. Anything that you are doing or saying that is beneath you or lowers your standards, compromises your integrity, or makes you feel used or like a doormat has to stop at once. You cannot expect your romantic partner to treat you well if you don't stand up for yourself or are willing, or you're willing to allow others to mistreat you. Being ashamed of yourself is not good for your soul. And I would like to add something else. It seems that a lot of dysfunctional couples have decided that they're going to slap the twin flame or soulmate label onto their relationship as an excuse for being in this relationship. And guess what? Not all dysfunctional relationships are twin flames and soulmates. Sometimes you're just dysfunctional people in a dysfunctional relationship. And until you heal yourself, you can say, and find and make better choices, these are the kind of relationships you're going to be in. So if you're sitting there going, why do I keep getting into the same relationship over and over? You might want to work on yourself for a while, because obviously lessons aren't being learned and you're repeating the same patterns of behavior over and over again. And take a hard look at your relationship. Have you been suffering in a dysfunctional, toxic mess of a relationship because you're just sitting around waiting for it to move forward? Do you think if your relationship goes to the next level, you'll finally be happy? Look at your relationship honestly. If your relationship is currently a mess and you really think living together is going to make it better, or getting engaged or married or having a child, you're kidding yourself. None of those labels or situations is going to change your relationship for the better. And that's not how relationships get better. You think a piece of paper saying you're married or you signed a lease is going to stop someone from cheating or get rid of their anger issues, jealousy issues, control issues, or any other problem that you have? Of course it won't. It's going to take work. So the first thing you have to do is address these problems, look at the patterns, and look at the role that you've played. Start doing something different. Anything different. But if you keep doing the same thing, your partner's going to keep doing the same thing, and your relationship is going to stay in dysfunction town, and you're not going to get anywhere. And it's not a great place to live.
Right, because there are those out there who believe that we must endure dysfunctional relationships because of the spiritual connection, because we're soulmates or twin flames. Sure, you may very well be in a spiritual partnership, and of course there will probably be obstacles that must be dealt with, addressed, and resolved as part of it. But you can either do that together, helping each other, which is what we recommend, or you can fight one another and learn the hard way. If you constantly sacrifice your own personal happiness by staying in a dysfunctional relationship because you're with a soulmate or twin flame, is that really what the universe has in store for you, or what's best for you? Do you really think a higher power wants you to be unhappy, miserable, fearful, and feeling unloved all the time? No, they don't.
Exactly. And that's why you have to look at, we get it all the time from the people that call us, where it's like, okay, why won't they change? Why won't they do this? They need to fix that. When are they going to fix it? Da, 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 da. And it's like, okay, calm down. Look at yourself. What can you be doing instead of enabling them or dealing with them or whatever? Look within yourself. I'm not saying all of it is your fault, but you're playing a role here. And you need to change that. That's where your lessons are. Don't worry about their lessons. Learn yours.
Right. So before we say goodbye, we'd like to say you can find us on soulmatereading.com. There's links to all of our social media, our YouTube, our app. You can listen to all this stuff with the app. You can also book us for readings there. soulmatereading.com. And bye, Sarah. Good night.
Oh, and our podcasts come out every Monday and Friday, allegedly.
Right. And our YouTubes as well.
Yes.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.